Shalom, Yesharallah. First and foremost, I want to give all our praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ruchak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to those Akim that's preach the word in all truth and sincerity, along with the Israelite foreigner brothers that are like the heathens. But the line of outside goes back to the nation of Israel, which the nation of Israel are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans through the prophecies and curses of Deuteronomy 28 chapter and throughout the Bible. So this is your brother Yakar, a Mappa lesson, and today's lesson will be entitled, "The Lord Has Always Tested Us." I just going to go on some precepts, and Lord willing, you brothers, and if you sisters out there, be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemon Shai, because throughout our history, our power, Yahweh Shemon Shai has always tested us, to see whether, we'll be faithful to him or not, by keeping his law, touch commandments, man. We know the prophecy in Revelation 3 and 10, the hour of temptation, which is the implantable device that will go on either hands or your forehead, according to Revelation 13 and 16, that the Lord's going to try everybody upon the face of the earth, including us in the faith. So with nothing new being under the sun, the Lord, is going to do it again in these times. But I just want to go out through the history, how the Lord has always tested our forefathers and us as a nation. So I'm going to start off with the book of Psalms 56 and verse 10. And once again, Lord willing, you brothers and your sisters out there be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemon Shai, And this is Psalms 66 and verse 10. It says, "For thou, O Yahweh, hast proved us. Thou hast tried us as silver is tried." And that's right, man. So Lord has always tried us as silver and gold, man. Because that's the fire is what purifies the silver, so it could be pure, man. So the fire represents, tribulations, catching hell for the name of Yahweh Shemon Shai and righteousness, you know. But that word proved is from the Hebrew word bechan, which means to examine, try, prove, man. It says to test, prove, try of gold persons, the heart, the mind, the man of Yahweh, right? So to make a trial, right? So the Lord is testing us by putting us through different trials, so our faith can be built up, man. So that's why sometimes the Lord will afflict you. The Lord might cause you to lose your job, or, lose your woman. Just be have car issues, financial issues, just so you won't be attached to this place, man, and for you to hasten the day and to just trust in Him, man. You know. Now I'm gonna go to the first one with our forefather Abraham. You know, which Abraham in the Hebrew is from the Hebrew word Abraham, which means father of a multitude. And he was the father of the multitude of the Israelites. Which is us today. Us so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know, but this is Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 17. It says, "By faith, Abraham, when he was tried," meaning when Abraham was tested, offered up Isaac. Yeah, because the Lord said, to sacrifice his only begotten son Isaac. Which Abraham, he had, other seed too, but the promise went to Isaac. Which was one of our forefathers, man. It says when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and that he had received the promises offered up of his only begotten son, right? So this was faith, man. Because this was the Lord Yahweh testing Abraham, proving our forefather Abraham, man. And Abraham, he was going to do that, but the angel of the Lord stopped him, man. But the Lord did that to see whether Abraham was going to have faith in him or not. And our forefather Abraham passed the test, man. You know, It says, verse 18, it says, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Yeah, because the promises went to Isaac, then it went on to Jacob. You know, the promises that, we shall be as the sand of the sea, that we shall possess the gate of our enemies, you know, and that all the families of the earth shall be blessed, which all the families are the Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, you know. It says, accounting that Yahweh was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. So that was great faith that our forefather Abraham had, that he knew that Yahweh was going to raise up Isaac from the dead, even if he did have to sacrifice his son, man. You know? So Abraham, our forefather, he had great faith, and he passed the test, man. You know? So that was one example of our one of our great forefathers, man, Abraham, Abraham. You know? Now let's go to Deuteronomy 8, the 8th chapter. And this is dealing with the nation of Israel, the whole nation, the whole congregation of Israel when we were in the wilderness for 40 years during the time of Moses. You know, this is Deuteronomy 8:1. It says, all the commandments which I command thee this day shall you observe to do, that you may live. See, the commandments that we do, it produces life, you know, not death, man. Hence why we living. It says, and multiply and go in and possess the land which the Lord Yahweh swore unto your fathers, right? Which that land was the land of Canaan, which later became the land of Israel. You know, it says, verse 2, it says, and thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord Yahweh thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness. So we were in the wilderness for 40 years to humble thee and to prove thee. Once again, prove, let's look it up. Prove means the test, you know. Prove is from the Hebrew word nasah. Nasah, it says to test, try, prove, tempt, you know. So the Lord was testing the nation of Israel, that's going to keep going on to say, to know what was in thy heart, what was in your mind, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. So that's an answer to why we were in the wilderness for 40 years, because the Lord was testing our forefathers to see whether we're going to be faithful to him and keep the laws and commandments. So, because remember, we just, our forefathers, they just got released from the Egyptian captivity, man. So the Lord was having to make them detach from the ways of Egypt, to fully put their trust in him. You know, it says, verse 3, it says, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knowest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord Yahweh doth man live. Right. So, because you don't live by actual bread, you live by the words of Yahweh by Shemon Shai. You know, I mean, yeah, you don't live by bread only, but you live by the words of Yahweh by Shemon Shai, which is the true bread, the true food, the true nourishment, man. You know, um, so that was one example of the Lord testing us. You know, another example is in Judges. You know, Judges 2. In the time span of the book of Judges, was 450 years. Let me just get that to prove that, because this is what Apostle Paul was reiterating when he was speaking. He was 13 and let's see, let me just span of 3. No, it's in Acts 13. Yeah, I got it right here, Akim. This is Acts 13 and verse 20. It says, and after that he gave unto them judges about the space of 450 years until Samuel the prophet. Right, so the time span of the book of Judges was 450 years until the prophet Samuel came on the scene. you know. So that's how long, that was the time span of the book of Judges, you know. And this was after, of course, Joshua, which he was a successor of Moses, you know. This was after Joshua led the children of Israel into the land of Canaan, Joshua and Caleb, but led by Joshua, which he was an Ephraimite, and he was a great man of the Lord, Um, Judges 2, in verse 20. And it says, and the anger of the Lord Yahweh was hot against Israel, and he said, because that this people, talking about the Israelites, had transgressed my covenant, which I command their fathers, and have now hearkened unto my voice, I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Joshua left when he died. Yeah, because the Lord didn't drive out all the Hamites, because the Lord, was going to say, I want to jump the gun, it says, verse 22 says that through them I may prove Israel, right? So the Lord was testing Israel by way of those heathens in the land, Hamites and stuff, man. It says, whether they will keep the way of the Lord to walk therein as their fathers did, keep it or not. Therefore, the Lord Yahweh had left those nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivered he them into the hand of Joshua. Yeah, because the Lord was testing our forefathers to see whether they're going to be faithful to him or not, you know. And most of the time they were faithful because Judges, it was constantly Jake going off. The Lord would send them a savior or a judge, which that's where they got the superheroes from, because the judges were really superheroes. That's where Esau get, superheroes from the judges. So that's Samson, Gideon. I'm not Gideon. Yeah, Samson, Gideon, uh, uh, Othniel, you know, and many more judges, man. The Lord was raised up judges, which were like superheroes, to deliver uh, uh, our forefathers out of the captivity of the heathen nations. You know, so now last but not least is Revelation 3:10. You know, because the reason why I brought all them accounts out was just to draw parallels on how the Lord doesn't change. The Lord is always testing us as a nation and individually. You know, so the Lord's going to do that again these times. But this is Revelation 3:10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. Yeah, that applies to the elect, keeping the word of the Lord's patience, not falling out the truth, kept doing the works, kept being faithful, you know. It says, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which once again, the hour of temptation is the charagma, according to Revelation 13:16. It says, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Right. So all the world in the Okamini sense, because the CHIP is gonna be mandated throughout the whole world, because this is Esau's NWO agenda, you know. Um, well, let's go to that word world. World is from the Greek word oikomene, which means the whole inhabited earth, the world. So the CHIP is gonna be made mandated throughout the whole inhabited earth, throughout all countries very soon. But it says to try them, to test them that dwell upon the earth. So the Lord's gonna test everybody, including us. So Lord willing, we'll be faithful no matter what, not to, take that CHIP and to be faithful to him no matter what, man, even in the face of death. Because no matter what, we already know according to the prophecy that the elected man of Israel is not going to take the CHIP, man. There's going to be martyrs in the name of Yahweh Shemon Shai of resisting the CHIP. And some of the elect brethren is going to get their heads beheaded according to Revelation 20:4 by not receiving the charagma. So I just end off of one precept, This is the book of Sirach, chapter 4 and verse 28. And it reads, it says, strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, shall fight for thee. That's right, man. So that's what we got to do. I can keep striving for the truth, striving and fighting for the truth unto death, man. And Yahweh Shemashah is going to fight our battles, man. So, Lord, one act was edified. And until next time, Shalom.